A little bit late for the 4 p.m. media briefing on October 2nd. Thanks for joining us. Today we have Avril Pender, County Manager, Buncombe County. We also have representatives from the city of Asheville here to provide updates from their organization. I'm getting feedback, so give me a second. Okay, excuse me. Sorry about that. So again, we're joined today by City Manager Deborah Campbell, Assistant City Manager Ben Woody, and Asheville Police Department Chief Lamb from the city of Asheville. I want to remind our viewers that much of the information that we are sharing today will also be shared out through our text messaging platform. Please sign up for these alerts by texting BC Alert to 99411, and you will be enrolled. You can also go to buncombeready.org for more information about how to sign up for that platform and that notification system. We would like to extend our gratitude to our partners from the Hispanic community who have been working tirelessly to reach individuals who are even more isolated due to language barriers. Some of these vital organizations include Poder Emma, SEMA, Hola Carolina, Unite, Beloved Asheville, Tierra Fertil Co-op, the Reuter Family YMCA at Biltmore Park, and Bounty and Soul Latino. We also want to thank our media partners who are sharing critical information in Spanish. Some of these include Pasa la Voz, Asheville Enlace, Latino NC, BPR, JM Pro Media. Thank you so much for your partnership. Just a quick okay, sorry, I skipped ahead. Buncombe County has been dedicated to providing updates in Spanish through press briefings and social media. Many of our shelters are also staffed with bilingual speakers, and there are many bilingual volunteers supporting the various efforts across our community, including our Family Assistance Center efforts. Just a quick announcement, at this time, Beloved is no longer able to accept donations at their location. So at this point, if you have small donations, you can drop them off at ABCCM, which is located at 24 Cumberland Avenue in Asheville. And next, we will take remarks from County Manager Pender.
Thank you, Stacy. Good afternoon. Today, we opened an additional emergency shelter. Our general population shelters are at AB Tech Conference Center, 16 Fernandhurst Drive, Asheville, North Carolina, 28801. Please use the Victoria Road entrance. Navant Health, the former Gold's Gym. Location is 1815 Hendersonville Road in Asheville. This location has a playroom for children, so it may be more suitable for families. Please note that no pets are allowed at this location. We have a medical emergency shelter for individuals who are dependent on medical equipment requiring power. That is located at 10 Genevieve Circle. That is on the AB Tech campus. Again, 10 Genevieve Circle, Asheville, North Carolina. The shelter at the Ag Center is full. Please do not go there. Some good news to report about Wasteboro and trash pickup. Tomorrow, Wasteboro will provide service to regular Thursday routes where there are full and safely accessed for large trucks. I'll say that again. So tomorrow on the Thursday routes, Wasteboro will begin picking up trash, but only in locations where they can fully and safely access with their large trucks. If you're a Wasteboro customer and your collection day is Thursday, they will reach out to you. If your can has not been emptied by the end of the day, please bring it back. Please bring it back in. That means that no beers or anything else can get to that trash can. And it also means that they cannot reach you because some part of that road is not accessible. Please do not put storm debris in your cans. We have a separate debris hauler who will collect that. The landfill is operating at regular hours, and you can drop waste off there anytime. Wasteboro also will have trucks out at 3 Ingalls location from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. for residents to bring bag household waste. So beginning tomorrow on Thursday, 8 a.m. until 6 p.m., Wasteboro will have some trucks at these locations for Ingalls. The first Ingalls at 2901 Hendersonville Road in Fletcher. That's 2901 Hendersonville Road in Fletcher. 1865 Hendersonville Road in Asheville. 1865 Hendersonville Road, Asheville. And lastly, 225 Charlotte Highway in Asheville. These trucks are also not for storm debris. That collection will happen later. We're still assessing the feasibility for Friday routes. So this information is for Thursday only. So tomorrow only is what I'm talking about. We'll assess what will happen for Friday and we'll give you notice of that in the future. We expect to announce details about the One Buncombe call center tomorrow. The One Buncombe call center will be able to triage non-emergency requests with accurate information from the Emergency Operations Center. Moving to power, and an update on our power. 91,000 customers remain without power. So yesterday I told you it was 100,000, so we're making some progress. Duke Energy expects to restore the majority of customers who can receive power by the end of the day Friday. Many will receive power earlier, but power restoration can take longer in some areas that cannot be accessible. 2 substations in Swannanoa that was submerged will take months to repair. Duke has brought in mobile substations as an interim solution. Those have been delivered to the substation sites and are expected to power up by the end of the week. We also have an update from Weaverville. The boil advisory is in effect for their water until further notice. Water must come to a rolling boil for at least 1 full minute. Please conserve water. This is an emergency water supply. Water distribution is happening at North Windy Ridge Intermediate School. Bring your own water containers. Water and pantry items will be available for pickup on Thursday, October 3rd at the Weaverville Community Center, located at 60 Lakeshore Drive, starting at 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Donations of water and pantry items will be collected at the Community Center Thursday, October 3rd from 3 p.m. between 3 and 4 p.m. Weaverville Town Garbage Collection potentially to resume on Monday, October 7th. We'll give you more updates as we get closer to Monday. If your power is restored before your water, turn off your water heater to avoid damaging the heating elements. There's a mobile ATM at the PNC Bank on Weaver Boulevard. T-Mobile is establishing an area for Wi-Fi and phone charging behind the Tractor Supply in Weaverville. And lastly, from Weaverville, lunch is being provided at the Methodist and Baptist churches on Main Street. With that, I will respond this morning. Someone asked if we know how many customers are on well water in Buncombe County. We have 8,000 wells drilled in Buncombe County. So that's my update for this afternoon, and I'll pass it over to City Manager Deborah Campbell.
Thank you, Avril. As stated, my name is Deborah Campbell, and I serve as the city manager for Asheville. Let me start by saying, I hope you all are managing as best you can under these unprecedented circumstances. I know we all wish things were better, but let me assure you the city, county, state, and federal government are working in a coordinated manner and as fast as we can to assist and meet your most basic needs. However, our recovery efforts will take weeks, not days. This morning, my staff and I met with another newly assigned staff person from FEMA, who is leading one of FEMA's incident management assistance teams assigned to help with our response efforts. Use an acronym. The IMI team is embedding a team of 25 employees in our area for the next several weeks. At this meeting, she asked, what are some immediate needs or priorities? Our response was the city of Asheville's highest priority is to continue to get water, food, and other basic necessities to our most vulnerable populations, and neighborhoods. To date, over 289,000 cases of water have been distributed in 29 different locations, and we have set up 3 different distribution points, including Pack Square, Asheville Middle School, and the Linwood Crump Community Center, also known as the Shallow Recreation Center. Asheville Middle School and Shallow Recreation Center have bottles, while Pack Square Park remains a container filling station. Containers are available at Pack Square, but if you have a container, please bring your own. Today, food in the form of meals ready to eat, MRE, and bottled water are available at 2 distribution sites. 2 MRE packages per adult and 1 per child will be allowed per day. Cases of bottled water are available, 1 case per family per day. Distribution will last until 7 p.m. or until supplies run out. Again, the distribution sites are at the following locations: Asheville Middle School, 211 South French Broad Avenue, Linwood Crump Shallow Community Center, 121 Shallow Road. Buck Water is available, again, at Pack Square, 70 Court Plaza. We're trying to set up additional points of distribution as well as continuing to deliver directly into neighborhoods using volunteers, staff, and other partners. Also, we just recently heard Asheville Jewish Community Center wants to share their pool water to help people flush toilets. People can come to the JCC pool on Thursdays and Friday, 10 to noon. That is tomorrow and Friday, 10 to noon with containers. Enter from Clyde Street or Charlotte Street and pull up to the pool gate on North Crescent Street. Other priorities that were identified in our conversation with FEMA was full restoration of the Asheville water system. Assistant City Manager Ben Woody will provide more detailed information on these efforts. Continuing our search and rescue and missing persons efforts. And overall, public safety. Chief Mike Lamb will provide more detailed information about these efforts. Lastly, I want to say a big thank you to all of our City of Asheville employees assisting in this recovery effort. The obvious ones, of course, being our public safety employees, police, and fire. But to all the others like Public Works, Community and Public Engagement, Development Services, Parks and Recreation, Capital Facilities and Management, Transportation, Human Resources, Information Technology, Community and Regional Entertainment Facilities, Legal, Finance, and Equity and Inclusion. If I didn't call out your department, I'll be back Friday to continue the list. It takes a village. And a big thank you to the mayor and council and state elected officials who are diligently working in the community at water distribution sites and doing whatever to connect with both public and private entities to request resources for our community to support this recovery effort. Again, thank you, Asheville, for coming together to take care of each other as we work to restore our community. I will now turn it over to Ben Woody, who will cover additional details about our water system.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Again, Ben Woody, Assistant City Manager for the City of Asheville. And I'm going to try to give a comprehensive update on where things are at with our water system. So we have made measurable progress, toward beginning the process of rebuilding our water system. However, I must remind the community that that system was catastrophically damaged, and we do have a long road ahead. So the way I'll do this today is I'm going to do the first portion of my comments will be related to our treatment plants. Then I'll talk about our distribution system. So we'll start with our William DeBrule treatment plant that is in Beatree. That plant is not accessible at all. We do have good news that our North Carolina Department of Transportation staff are out on the ground right now, rebuilding the road to that plant. So as that occurs, and once that access road is done, it then makes it possible for us to deliver people, supplies, and equipment to that plant to begin the repairs that are desperately needed. Our Mills River plant, which serves the southern portion of our distribution system, that plant is actually still functional. So there are people in Asheville that have water, Asheville and Buncombe County, and a matter of fact, some that never lost water. However, 2 critical pumps that were necessary to begin restoring that treatment plant have now arrived. And as I talk right now, the water resources staff are working to make those connections and begin drawing water into a raw reservoir, which will then allow us to increase the production and capacity of that treatment plant. That is a major milestone in the recovery of the Mills River plant. However, once that pump is fully operational, customers in South Asheville who have kept water service, and I'm going to highlight this, should maintain it. Additionally, as we can begin to ramp up the output from the Mills River plant, customers in that service area should, and I want to highlight that, should begin to receive water. So we have positive developments with Mills River, and we are beginning to ramp up production in that plant. So that is good news. I do want to remind people in South Asheville and South Buncombe County, that is still non-potable water, so you are still under a boil water advisory. North Fork Water Treatment Plant is our principal production plant for the city of Asheville. It provides water to most of our customers in Buncombe County and Asheville. Progress has been made at that plant. Critical materials are beginning to arrive at North Fork, and there have been repairs made to access roads, and transmission line repairs are also underway. We have materials, we're started, but we need more materials. We continue to request those, and those continue to come. I want to emphasize that the damage to the transmission lines at the North Fork plant is severe. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. I also want to note that the turbidity levels in the reservoir must stabilize before we can even treat water in that plant. So we have a lot of work to do to the distribution system and our ability to even treat the water. Our distribution system has suffered catastrophic damage. We have water department crews and partner crews that are working to repair that distribution system right now. We have crews from the city of Greensboro, from the city of Raleigh, from the city of Charlotte, and Cape Fear that are either already making repairs or on their way to do that. We're doing that as quickly as we can, but I want to note that access to some areas is still not possible. So we still do not know the full extent of the damage to the Asheville water system. Our public works crews are working in every hour of daylight to open those roads up and provide access. There's still a lot of work to be done. Again, the damage to the distribution system is extensive. Even if the plants are operational, we can't get water to the community unless the distribution system is operational. And just to give some, and just to highlight this, it's not as simple as just replacing a water line. Oftentimes the entire road beds have washed out. So in order to even begin the replacement of water lines, we have to rebuild those road beds in a way that they can support the installation of these water lines. We have a lot of work to do. And I referenced these referenced this earlier, but I do want to recognize our partners from other cities in North Carolina that have sent crews. As a specific example, the city of Greensboro's crew are right now rebuilding the water main that connects our system to Black Mountain. So the support we've gotten from our community partners allows us to work on many parts of the distribution system at once. We're going to make progress every day. And I want to reiterate that a return to potable water, we've got to get to non-potable before we get to potable, but that process is going to be staggered. It's going to take a lot of work. And so it is just impossible to provide a timeline for this community when there will be a full system restoration. That is going to happen incrementally across different parts of the community based on the ability to repair transmission lines in the distribution system. As I said earlier, we have customers in the south that already have non-potable water. Hopefully we have more, but we have a lot more customers that have no water. So again, the return to non-potable then potable water service is entirely dependent on our ability to repair the distribution system and repair the water system. And that's going to happen incrementally across the community. And as Ms. Pender noted, if you do have water service, you are under a boil water advisory and you need to boil your water for at least 1 minute before it is potable. So I personally, in the city of Asheville, we are grateful for your patience. And I assure you that we are dedicating every possible resource at our disposal to repair this water system and make it operational again. And before I go and turn it over to Chief Lamb, I want to thank our state and our federal partners, our private sector partners who are here and helping us in providing critical assistance. And I just want to note our local contractors who are fully mobilized and helping us: T&K Utilities, Tanoka Utilities, TP Howard, and now we have Harper Construction helping. So we want to give our sincere appreciation to those local contractors for what they're doing to help us. And as Ms. Campbell said, we have FEMA here on the ground as a resource for us to do this. And again, I want to thank the incident management team that the State Emergency Management Department sent to us to help as well. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Lamb. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I'm here to give the law enforcement update for the city of Asheville. My name is Mike Lamb, and I'm the chief of police for the Asheville Police Department. So the Asheville Police Department is at full patrol staffing. We have many officers that have been working nonstop, tirelessly to secure the city of Asheville. Many are working overtime and have worked for several days straight. We also have 45 additional law enforcement agencies that come from across the state of North Carolina that have helped us to be able to make sure our community is secure. Some of these agencies include Greensboro Police Department, Concord Police Department, Kernersville Police Department, and many others. If I went on the list, it would take too long to name them all, but we greatly appreciate your help. As City Manager Campbell said, it truly takes a village, and our law enforcement community has stepped up to help us to make sure our community is secure. We also have federal agencies that are supporting the Asheville Police Department by helping to secure Mission Hospital, its grounds, and also several FEMA sites. So all of our officers are working to guard food and distribution sites and also critical infrastructure. We're also protecting medical facilities and all of the pharmacies across the city from theft. We're also using officers, detectives, and our various drone teams to conduct search and rescue operations, also body recovery, conduct welfare checks, and do reunification of missing persons to family. I also want to say thank you to all of the different agencies that have helped provide drone pilots. While the Asheville Police Department has several drone certified pilots, they have been busy answering 911 calls for service, especially since cell phones are coming back online. Our community is calling a lot, and we're thankful for that because we know that you are adhering to the saying, if you see something, say something. So please, if you see anything that is dangerous, any crime in progress, please call 911 and report it. Another thing that our officers are doing are securing areas with severe damage to keep the public safe. It's important to understand that there are several areas, especially along Swannanoa River and the French Broad River, that look like they're safe to pass through. There are businesses and neighborhoods that may appear to be safe, but there are still search and rescue operations being conducted in those areas. There are also roads that may look safe, but have sinkholes underneath them. So last thing we want is for any of our public to get hurt, crossing over lines, crossing around barricades, and going into a sinkhole. Because at that point, you're putting first responders at risk by going into these areas. So please listen to the officers and the security staff that we have at different barricades. So another thing that we're doing is helping with missing persons. We have a missing person list And we are going through that list, going to addresses of people that family members cannot get in contact with. So if you have a missing person, there is a Google form on the City of Asheville website. Probably the easiest way to get there is by Googling City of Asheville Hurricane Helene update. And that'll take you to our website. There's a Google form and also a QR code that you can scan in order to obtain the form. Fill it out, and we will be back in touch with you once we're able to either call the person that is presumed missing or going to their house and conducting a site wellness check there. Another thing that unfortunately we are having is scammers. So we've had several calls today, especially in the Patton Avenue area in West Asheville, of people going door to door and saying that they are there collecting donations and equipment for the hurricane relief efforts. Be wary of that. There are a couple of things that you can do to make sure that you're safe and that you're not giving money to a scammer is to verify before you buy. So make sure you're verifying and checking the legitimacy of anybody that is soliciting funds or asking for donations. Another thing is if somebody comes to you and they ask to do repairs for you, they will never ask for full payment up front or even payment up front. A reputable company will do the work first and then get payment on the backside. And you can also check different reviews online to make sure it is a legitimate business that is coming to do the repairs for you. And lastly, with scammers, report suspicious activity. Just like I said a minute ago, if you see something, say something. It's true with scammers. If you get an instinct or you get that gut feeling that something's not right, please call 911 and report the situation so that we can go investigate and see if that person is trying to conduct a scam or not. So another thing to remember is that whenever the power is out and there's no power at a traffic signal and the lights are out, it becomes a four-way stop. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of collisions and we've had some near accidents at these intersections. So again, if you get to an intersection and the traffic lights are not working, it becomes a four-way stop at that point. So please use patience and watch out for each other. Also, there's a curfew that is still in effect. The curfew runs from 7:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. And this helps us to be able to make sure our resources are going towards finding missing people, continuing to do recoveries, and to make sure that we're going to critical 911 calls. Especially with the street lights out, trees still across the roadway and power lines still down, it is dangerous to be out there driving around on the streets at night. So we ask that you please adhere to the curfew. And lastly, I just want to thank all of our wonderful community members. I've seen the best of our community during this time. I've seen people come out and offer to cut trees, to clear driveways, to help neighbors repair roofs, taking people water, taking people food that cannot get out. So I just wanted to say again, thank you to our wonderful community members who are helping each other. Thank you very much.
And now we have Sheriff Miller here to provide an update.
First, good afternoon. So we reported earlier today, our numbers is at 57. So today, unfortunately, that number has increased. We're at 61. So again, we deeply appreciate the continued support from our state and local and federal partners. Your help remains vital to this challenging time. We understand these are difficult times for everyone, and we're committed to standing by our community to ensure your safety and well-being. Even now, our deputies are fully committed to responding to calls and keeping our community safe. With the help of our partners, we're able to provide the necessary care and continue delivery of essential services. We're here for you, and we will keep moving to ensure your safety remains our top priority. Also, I would just ask that our wellness calls are now, we started at about 300 or 400 at one point. We're down to 4. So we're moving along quickly to ensure that we're checking on folks who have called us or contacted us in reference to welfare checks. So continue to check on your neighbor. Continue to inform us of those folks who you have not reached out to. And we'll continue to go out and find them and call, get this information to you for the welfare check. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Miller. And now we will open it up to questions from the media.
Hi, this is Jeff Chamber with the Charlotte Observer. I have a question for Ben Woody, please. Hi, Ben. I was wondering if there is an estimate on how long the road repairs to the treatment plant will take. And then I know that you've said that it's hard to estimate how long the repairs would take on the plant itself, but any ideas if it's still possibly weeks, is it months? You know, what kind of time frame are we potentially looking at, especially if it's catastrophic damage?
So for the treatment plants, we haven't even been able to access the William DeRural plant. So I have no idea the length of time needed for those repairs. Mills River is operational. So again, we hope to have that up to full capacity ASAP. And I hope I have a positive update on that when I'm back on Friday. North Fork, just to be clear, the North Fork plant is operational. The challenge with that plant is we have to have water that we were able to treat. And so that, I can't give an estimate on the rate at which the turbidity of that reservoir water will decrease enough that it can be treated. Same thing with the transmission lines that are necessary from that plant. That's our number one priority. But again, we were just being able to access those transmission lines. And again, all that's contingent upon the distribution system being repaired. So again, minimum of weeks.
And sorry if I might be confused, but I think you said that roads need repaired to be able to access one of the treatment plants. Do you have any idea how long it will take for that road to be repaired?
So we have access, of course, we have access to Mills River. For the North Fork plant, we have made adequate repairs to that road that we can get in there and work. So we are working for the B Tree plant. NCDOT is making those road repairs, and I have no estimate that I can give on that today.
I have another question for Mr. Woody. Do you have an estimate for how many homes in Asheville currently have water and how many homes do not?
I do not.
It's Laura Lee at Blue Ridge Public Radio. I understand you're saying that this situation with the water will be a staggered approach, an incremental approach. I know everybody keeps pressing you for a timeline. I'm wondering if you could just give us sort of a low estimate and a high estimate, of a ballpark that we could potentially have water back in some of these places.
And I appreciate that question. I know that's important for our community. I think today is Wednesday. So today is Wednesday. It hasn't even been a week yet. I am just not in a position today to give an estimate on the restoration of water service, but I have to remind you, we do have residents right now that have water. It's only going to improve as time goes, but I think less than a week from the beginning of the storm, I am just not in a position to give that type of timeline. We haven't
Understand.
even discussed the full system yet.
And do you have any, I'm wondering about a comparative basis if I know this is, we keep saying catastrophic and unprecedented, but are you in contact with other municipalities, other cities that have faced similar challenges, maybe not from the same types of storm system, but similar challenges with their water systems? And would that give us any indication of, X place took this long and we could use that as some sort of model? Are you in touch with anywhere that might give us that sort of information?
Right. So, of course, we've been in contact with other municipalities. We have folks like the Cape Fear Water Utility that they're pretty experienced with hurricanes. What I'm really excited about is the teams we have from FEMA the return to water systems is that's what they do, and they're here. As well as the IMT team that the State Emergency Management Department sent. And at this point, they're not willing to make an estimate, so I'm not going to either.
This is Keith Campbell.
But we have them as a resource, and as we learn more and assess, we're going to get better and better at providing information.
So this is Keith Campbell from Asheville Watchdog, and you've mentioned the incremental nature of repairing this. Can you share with us, like, what are you most optimistic about in terms of the different problems and challenges that you're facing? What do you think we'll see first in terms of progress or an increase in water? Where will that occur?
Well, I'm most optimistic about Mills River because we have water there and we've installed pumps that are going to allow us to run that facility at full production. Again, that facility really provides service to South Asheville and Buncombe County. In terms of when I say incremental, and people that are here know this, our water system is extremely complex. We have elevation changes. We have, I think, over 40 pressure zones. We have pump stations. We use gravity. It is an extremely complex water system. As we were able to pressurize lines in the distribution system, we're probably going to find leaks we don't even know. So again, when I say incremental, and we're not even close to that outside of Mills River. As we begin to pressurize our system, we're going to learn a lot more about damages to the distribution system. And we may have areas as once we pressurize that are less damaged and can get water sooner. So again, it's an extremely complex water system.
I know you're not able to give a timeline for like the full restoration, but I'm wondering if you can give us some sense of timing on the Mills River increase in output. Are we talking days, weeks? What are we talking about in a general sense?
So here's what I'm going to do. I'll be here tomorrow for questions from the media related to the water system. And ask me that tomorrow, and I hope I can give you a more precise timeline on that. But just please know we have made great progress there, but I need more information before I can make an estimate.
Okay.
Sorry. Hi. I'm Jessica Mayora from Enlace Latino NC. We have a question. How many Latin people have disappeared and died?
How many people have disappeared and died? Latin.
Was the
Oh,
question how many people have disappeared and died?
In the Hispanic community?
In the Hispanic community. I think I certainly don't know the answer to that.
Yes.
At this time, we do not have that information.
Okay,
Next.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
This
Do
is
we know when
Keith.
we might have information on identities of those who have perished?
We are working on gathering that information, and we do not have an exact time frame at this point. But I do think that in the coming days, we will, after the process of notification of family members has occurred, then we will begin to release those names.
There was a reference to a missing person list. I think Chief Lamb mentioned it. Can we get an idea of how many people are on that list?
Yeah, so currently we have two different lists running. We have one within the city of Asheville. We have also have one with Buncombe County. So that way we're dividing and conquering. Basically, we're taking all of the list and information that's coming in, and we're conducting welfare checks at each one. The city list is right now at 155 total. Now, the good news is from that 155, we've been able to work that down to where we only have 26 left on the list that we still haven't made contact with. A lot of that is thanks to cell phone companies being able to get the cell towers back online. And we've had family members reach back out to us and tell us that they found their family members. So all of that is wonderful news that we're able to get family members back in touch with each other. Now, we also know that some of those on the list are ones that were seen going in the water or underwater. And so of those, we've been able to make a positive identification on one individual. And we also were able to notify the family on that one as well.
And the number of unaccounted people from the county's estimate, can we hear what that is right now? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sheriff Miller's coming up to the podium.
Okay, thanks.
I mentioned earlier that number is down to 4 for the entire county that we're covering.
Down to 4.
Yes,
Okay.
we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Number of people who are missing, because we have people who are.
I thought he was talking about welfare checks.
Is it
No,
people
I'm asking about the number of people who are unaccounted for based on Buncombe County's estimate.
We're unable to report that right now.
Sheriff Miller, I have a real quick question for you. Do you know the number of people being currently held in Buncombe County Jail right now?
Yes, sir. That number right now is 463.
Have there been any issues at the facility since the storm, any water or power issues or anything like that?
Yes, initially we did have issues with our water, and we've been able to address that through the county with the amount of gallons of water that we have needed for flushing of the facility. We've also brought in different, I would say showers, but we can shower porta johns so we could have that for the use of the detainees. But we haven't had anything different. Or I know his report, I think I spoke about yesterday about misinformation. And misinformation was about, I think, suicides or whatever those were. I addressed that yesterday, telling you that that is not the case in the county detention facility.
While you're up there, I'm wondering, could you tell us a little bit about the deputy who passed away during storm response? About who they were and what they meant to the department?
That was not Buncombe County. I know that would happen in Macon County, I believe. Madison County.
It's Laura Lee again at Blue Ridge Public Radio. I have a question for County Manager Pender, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Wanted to get an update on, we're getting a lot of questions about internet providers and any other update that you may have on cell network, as that continues to be an issue.
I don't have an update on cell providers. What we have been working on is getting temporary communication trailers, I will call them. They're called cows. But we've been working on getting those so we can redeploy those across our community. We have received a few. There's some that we've placed, I believe some in Black Mountain, Swananoa area. And we're working on getting more that we can deploy in the meantime, an interim solution until we can get a more definitive answer from our cell providers.
Great. And I asked this morning about nursing homes and assisted living facilities and wanted to see if there was any update on, we had reports of some of those being inaccessible. Do you have any update there?
Not yet. That we put that on the list to track down so we can get you an answer hopefully by tomorrow, but I don't have an update at this point. Anyone that we've heard from, we've reached out and make sure that they had the facilities and stuff that they need. So if you're, as I asked you this morning, if there are things that you're hearing, specific ones, if you can let us know so we can get those on our list as well. But we have our list, we've been working that list, but I don't have an updated number for you or updated information from your question this morning.
This is Greg Parley at Mountain Express. For County Manager Pender, you said trash service would resume for Thursday customers tomorrow. Is that expected to continue throughout next week? And then I also want to know about city trash service.
I cannot promise you it will continue. Waynesboro is out now assessing roads to make sure that their trucks can get through. So what we're working on is day by day as we can get to see what roads are available, not just for car traffic, but these are huge trucks, as you know, can make it down those roads safely. So they have ridden the Thursday route and they felt that they can make some progress on the Thursday route. So we're saying Thursday. In addition to that, do remember there are 3 sites that you can take your trash to. There's 3 Ingalls site, and I'll get the list again so I can give you the addresses. This is for Thursday, that residents can take trash to, if they can bring bagged household trash, no storm debris, no trees or limbs or branches, but just household trash, can go to Ingalls at 2901 Hendersonville Road in Fletcher, 1865 Hendersonville Road in Asheville, and again, Ingalls at 225 Charlotte Highway in Asheville. So those 3 sites tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. You can take trash there. That will help relieve. And this is for any routes. So any routes that have trash, I can make it to this one. But they will try to run trash trucks on the Thursday route.
Great.
You asked about, go ahead.
Does the city have an update on that trash?
And I'll turn it over to Ben to.
Hey, thank you for the question. I am not able to give a date when solid waste service will return. We are still trying to clear roads and get access. So at this time, I can't give a specific date. So our service is discontinued until further notice. Thank you.
So city customers can send to or go to the county sites, I would assume, to drop off.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
I had a question for City Manager Campbell. I don't know if she's still there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, it's Laura at Blue Ridge Public Radio. Given what we're hearing about, the difficulties of a timeline for water restoration, does the city have an adequate supply of water? For how long? And we know that some of that was privately purchased as sort of a safety measure initially. Can you tell us about where the water that is currently being distributed is coming from?
From private vendors, as well as we are working with the county and the state. Do we have enough water to distribute? We think we have enough for this week. Again, it's going to be dependent upon demand, obviously. But we are continuing to work feverishly to maintain supply of water. Unfortunately, it may not be coming out your tap, but it will probably have to be bottled or the bulk water distribution that we want to continue as long as we have to continue it.
And we asked this early on. I just want to ask it again now that we're a few more days into this. Is there any consideration at city government or county government for encouraging people to leave? We've seen that in a couple of other communities, given the lack of basic necessities, water, food, power, communication. Is that something that you all would consider as a move to try to encourage people actually to leave?
I think that is totally a personal decision that a family has to make on its own. We, from the city of Asheville, are not encouraging that. What we will encourage is that people do what they think is in their best interest. And that may be leaving, it may be staying, it may be volunteering, it may be take different avenues,
Right.
but we are not specifically encouraging people to leave our community.
Would there be a consideration of encouraging or even facilitating vulnerable populations to leave the community if this, water situation in particular continues?
If the demand dictates it or necessitates it, we will try to determine and come up with the plan to respond to that need.
You said a moment ago that there was enough water for this week. Can you define this week? Are we talking Friday? Are we talking Sunday? What are we?
Right now, we're talking Friday.
Following up on Laura's question about possible evacuations, if a family or even a person wanted to evacuate but had no ability to, would the city or county be able to coordinate transportation out for evacuation?
Well, I think that really is a complicated question because it would depend on where we need to relocate a family. Because as you know, there is a gas shortage in our community. And so we just have to come up with the plan.
We understand that President Biden has approved active military. And I'm wondering what, if any, coordination there has been with county or city officials for the role of those military members.
At this point in time, I don't know all of the details of that, so I would hesitate to respond to that question right now. But we're noting all of your questions and we will try to have responses at a later date.
Sorry, I have one more follow-up on that. You said that there is a gas shortage. I just want to be clear. Is that a supply issue, or are we just saying there's an increased demand? Are we saying there's
I'm just
not
saying
enough?
with services not having power, a lot of our normal places where we get gasoline, they're not open. They're closed. That's the
Okay,
shortage.
so and accessibility, not the
Maybe I should have said access instead of
got it.
shortage.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Thanks for the clarification.
Any questions, Jeff? Okay, any additional questions? So we have two final announcements before we wrap it up. The new location for small donation drop-off is the Reynolds Middle Warehouse. And that is located at 2 Rocket Drive, Asheville, 28803. Again, the new location for small donation drop-off is the Reynolds Middle Warehouse located at 2 Rocket Drive, Asheville, 28803. One more Wi-Fi development. We wanted to let the community know that the Inca Candler Library now has Wi-Fi access in the parking lot of that location. And the password at the Inca Candler Library for Wi-Fi is read more, READMORE, all one word, lowercase, read more. And with that, we will conclude today's 4 p.m. media briefing. We will be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Thank you.